Hello everyone, today I'm going to explain how to do a Grubbs outlier test or a g-test. So I use the Grubbs outlier test a lot in the scientific field when performing experiments and making a hypothesis. The test is used to find a single outlier in a normal distributed set that has a large sample size. So these are a couple steps to do the g-test. You have to actually find the g-test statistic first, and then you have to find the g-critical value, compare these together, and then you can determine if you're going to reject that outlier or if it is normal in your sample. So if you have a maximum outlier, you're going to subtract the mean from the max and then divide it by the standard deviation, versus if you have a minimum outlier, you're going to subtract the minimum outlier from the mean and then divide by the standard deviation. So if you have a minimum outlier, it's going to be a left Taylor test, and if you have a maximum outlier, it's going to be a right Taylor test. And n is the number of your sample. So the null hypothesis is going to be accepted if there's no outlier present, versus the alternative hypothesis is going to be accepted if a single outlier is present. And these are just some of different ways that you can test for outliers. So I'm going to run through how to do it really quick on Excel. On Excel, you're going to find the mean first. You're going to highlight your data sample and then click equals average and then enter. This will give you the average of your sample size, and then you're going to click equals standard dev for standard deviation, press enter, and then you're going to select which number you think is your outlier. So I chose 41.2 as a maximum outlier and write that down. And then for the g-test, you're going to press equal sign, parentheses, highlight D4, which is your outlier. So once you select D4, you're going to subtract D2 from that, which is your mean, and then you're going to close the parentheses, divide it by D3, which is your standard deviation, press enter, and you get your g-test, 2.08. So now you need to find your g-critical value. So most of the time you're going to be given your alpha confidence interval. In this case, I used 0.05, so I go down to 0.05 on the alpha confidence, and our sample size, we know n was 7. So the answer is 1.94, and from our g-test, which we got 2.08, we can say that 2.08 is greater than 1.94, leading to the conclusion that 41.2 is indeed a maximum outlier. From here, we can say that our g-test was greater than our g-critical value, and we can reject this point as an outlier. And you can go back to your data set in Excel, delete the outlier, and your mean and standard deviation will correct themselves automatically, no help needed. Thank you, everyone.